2018 was a year of resurgence for the Indianapolis Colts. Having gone 4-12 the year prior in 2017 without Andrew Luck, the future of this franchise was looking a bit gloomy at the time. They underperformed enough to get the 3rd overall pick in the draft, which they eventually flipped to the Jets in their efforts to trade up for Sam Darnold. But in round 2 of the 2018 draft, the Colts found themselves an absolute gem. A linebacker out of SC State who, according to NFL scouts, lacked NFL play strength and didn't have the frame to hold up as a 3-down linebacker. That player, of course, was Darius Shaquille Leonard. To be honest, not everybody loved the pick. It was either heavily criticized or left pundits confused because he went earlier than expected. Despite the criticism, he did win the starting job at weak side linebacker for week 1, and he did not disappoint. From his first real game, you could tell Leonard was going to be special. He debuted with 9 tackles and a fumble recovery versus the Bengals, but it was week 2 where he started getting national attention. In his second career game, Leonard had 15 solo tackles, 19 total, a sack, a tackle for a loss, a pass defended, and a forced fumble, all in the same game. This won him AFC Defensive Player of the Week honors, and his 19 tackles were the most by a Colts player in 7 years. This guy did it in his second career game. Matt Eberflus, who was the Colts defensive coordinator at the time, said that Leonard's outing was a top 5 performance he's seen by a linebacker he's coached since 1995. After his first 4 games in the NFL, Leonard was in some elite company and won AFC Defensive Rookie of the Month. He was not only the leading tackler in the NFL after the first month, but also was the first player since 1994 to have at least 54 tackles through a team's first 4 games. He also became the first player since 1994 to have at least 50 tackles and 4 sacks in the first 4 games to open up a season. It just kept getting better and better, and the Colts went on a tear, winning 9 of their last 10 games to secure a playoff spot. Leonard won AFC Defensive Player of the Month in December, becoming the second Colts rookie in history to win that award. The other was Edgerrin James in 1999. 2018 was a phenomenal rookie year for Leonard, finishing with a Defensive Rookie of the Year trophy and first-team All-Pro honors. He led the league in tackles, solo and combined, adding 7 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, and 2 interceptions. Leonard earned enough respect from his peers to rank number 26 on the NFL's top 100 list as well. Over the next 3 seasons, Leonard would continue to be arguably the best linebacker in all of football. From 2018 to 2021, he played in at least 13 games each season, had at least 122 tackles, and a ridiculous average over 17 games. To that point in his career, Leonard per 17 games averaged 134 tackles, 3 interceptions, 5 forced fumbles, and 4 sacks. In August of 2021, Leonard signed a 5-year deal worth $52.5 million guaranteed, making him the highest paid linebacker in league history at that point. In 2021, Leonard was still elite and even led the league with a whopping 8 forced fumbles on the season. He stayed healthy, playing 16 out of 17 games and made his 3rd first-team All-Pro in his first 4 years. After changing his name from Darius to Shaquille Leonard, which was his middle name, the 2022 offseason brought the first sign of bad news in his young career. In June of 2022, it was announced that Leonard was having back surgery, a scary couple of words that you never want to hear for a professional athlete, especially for a linebacker. It was revealed that Leonard was dealing with calf and ankle pain the prior 2 seasons, and it was a nerve in his back that was potentially causing this issue. During the time of the surgery, it was expected that Leonard would miss some, if not all, of training camp, but had a good shot at making it back for week 1 in 2022. By early August though, just 2 months later, the expectation was that Leonard would be back at some point during the 2022 season, according to reporter Cameron Wolfe. So the timeline that looked a bit optimistic at first was starting to look a bit more pessimistic. A report came out from ESPN soon after that Leonard needed to build up strength, specifically in his calf, before making it back onto the field. On August 30th though, a couple weeks before the regular season, the Colts received the good news. Leonard was able to avoid the physically unable to perform list, which would have kept him out the first 4 weeks of the season. He didn't miss the first 4 games, but almost did. Leonard was absent the first 3 games of the year, but made his season debut in week 4 versus Tennessee. His season debut though only lasted for a quarter and a half. A collision with his teammate Zaire Franklin left Leonard with a broken nose and a concussion. He had surgery on his nose, which kept him sidelined for another 3 games. To this point, Leonard had been inactive for 6 of the Colts' first 7 games in 2022. He was able to make it back for week 8, but that did not last long either. After week 9, his back injury crept up again. It required another surgery, putting an end to Leonard's 2022 season just after 3 games played. In total, Leonard played just 74 snaps in those 3 games and had 8 solo tackles. He didn't look like the same dominant force we were accustomed to, but with a small sample size and just coming off surgery, it was fair to give him some more time. Going into 2023's offseason, Leonard reflected on 2022, which he explained was the hardest year of his life. Ironically, he said the same thing about 2021, but it was understandably more frustrating this time around. 2 back surgeries in a calendar year, a concussion, a broken nose, and just 3 games played. Leonard also shared that he had doubts if he'd ever be able to play again. He explained that doing simple exercises such as calf raises were pretty much impossible, which gave him doubts about ever being able to play again. And the most staggering quote of all was that he said he was hurting the team back in 2022. Leonard felt that he was hurting the team by playing that season after seeing how slow he looked on film. You have to appreciate the self-awareness, but it's hard not to feel bad for any athlete who endures that. While Leonard thought he was close to 100% during 2023's training camp, he never exactly looked like it. The good news was he only missed 1 game due to injury. The bad news was his production drastically declined, and he was not happy with his role on the team. Gus Bradley, the Colts defensive coordinator, explained how Leonard was on a timeline as they worked him back from last year's injuries, but Leonard was not having it. "My patience was kind of thrown out the window," Leonard told the media. "I want to be on the field. If I want to buy a ticket, I can sit in the stands or something." Zaire Franklin, who was in the midst of having a great season, was outplaying Leonard in terms of stats and number of snaps played. The final straw for Leonard was when Zaire Franklin missed a game versus Carolina in week 9, but instead of Leonard seeing more increased snaps that next week, they played undrafted free agent Shagun Alubi 100% of the snaps, and in that game, Leonard played just 55% of the snaps. Keep in mind that when Leonard was playing as arguably the best linebacker in football, he was in a different defense. His former defensive coordinator from 2018 to 2021, Matt Eberflus, was now coaching the Chicago Bears. At this point, articles and speculation arose about Leonard's future with the Colts and if it was a long-term fit or not. On November 9th of 2023, just 3 days before Leonard's eventual last game as a Colt, Stephen Holder of ESPN dropped an article highlighting the tension. Things like playing time and the scheme not being great for him because he was able to be a free roamer in Matt Eberflus's defense, and other linebackers on the Colts roster playing better were all brought up as reasons why. On November 21st, he was released by the Indianapolis Colts. A 5.5-year career in the place that drafted him had now come to an end. Before the release, the Colts were planning on making Leonard a healthy inactive for Week 12 versus Tampa. Between the complaints for playing time becoming a distraction and the potential inactive coming down the pike, the team did what they thought was best for both parties and they just released him. On December 4th, Leonard ended up going to a team that loves to take chances on big names, the Philadelphia Eagles. Philly was in the midst of a 10-2 season and they looked primed to head back to the Super Bowl for a 2nd year in a row. But after Leonard got there, things changed. The Eagles lost 5 of their last 6 regular season games, losing a chance at the bye and falling to the wild card. Leonard played on defense just 48% of the snaps in his 5 games as an Eagle and was made inactive for their playoff game versus Tampa. In the one game he saw a respectable amount of playing time, which was week 15 versus the Giants, Leonard had a sack and 7 combined tackles. With most of the big free agent signings behind us in 2024's offseason, you have to wonder if any team out there will take a chance on the now 29-year-old linebacker. In a late June article, Leonard said he's waiting for the opportunity to play somewhere, but he's also at peace if it doesn't happen either. Right now, he's staying focused on getting ready and getting his body right, but for now, he's still without a team. While he will be turning 30 in late July, it would be a shame if this was it. It was a career that had Hall of Fame trajectory after 4 years in the NFL written all over it, but now his career is trending towards a what if he never got hurt type of career. I think the immediate comparison we make is Patrick Willis, who had his career cut short due to injury, but he had enough production to make the Hall of Fame. Although Willis's career was shortened, he had 7 seasons of elite production. Leonard only has 4. Willis also played in some bigger games and made the playoffs more, which probably helps his narrative. The guy I would compare Leonard to is John Beeson. Beeson, like Leonard, had 4 phenomenal years in the NFL. Both guys were elite their first 4 years in the league, but had injuries derail what should have been Hall of Fame careers. Beeson tore his Achilles early in year 5, and Leonard had multiple back surgeries in his year 5. I'm not saying he's done yet. After all, Beeson did bounce back in 2013 to have a good year with the Panthers and Giants, so you never know. If this is it though, it's good knowing that Leonard will be at at peace with it. And while the ending with the Colts seemed a bit abrupt, it's hard to necessarily blame them. Zaire Franklin and EJ Speed were outplaying him and looked better athletically. Take this screen to Ezekiel Elliott as an example and watch number 53 on this play, which of course is Leonard. Barely even touched him and may have just flat out whiffed. And this is older Zeke, not the prime version of Zeke or even like a LaShawn McCoy or Reggie Bush in the open field. It was a bad look. I hope he gets another chance, but if he doesn't, his resume is still better than majority of his peers. For a guy who was considered to be too small for the NFL, he definitely proved all the doubters wrong. If this is it, his resume has a 2018 Defensive Rookie of the Year trophy, a 2018 All-Rookie team member, a 4-time All-Pro, first team 3 times in 2018, 2020, and 2021, 3-time Pro Bowler in 2019 through 2021, led the league in tackles in 2018, and led the league in forced fumbles in 2021. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe if you did, and I'll talk to you guys next time.